Yo, how you guys doing? It's your main man Kerr here, and I am back today with a very, very special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Camilla Cantu.
What's up, y'all? What's up?
Hello, hello.
What's up?
How are you today?
I'm straight. It's been a very long day, as you know. We had our first broncheo event, which was like a day brunch party, karaoke, all the above. Got really lit by like 3 p.m. and then you walked in, and I was like, "Oh, are we allowed to cuss?"
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, you have an interview. Let's let's drink more water." But yeah, I'm here, present.
Yeah.
That's what matters. We had time to sober up and play video games, and for me to kick your ass. We had time for it all. We had time for everything. So
yes,
yeah, I'm straight.
yes.
How are you?
We are chilling on the Lord's Day. Just kidding.
And Sunday.
Sunday.
Oh my God, it is Sunday. Oh my God. Feels like a whole Friday.
Okay, so can you give the viewers a little bit of info about who Camilla is?
Yes, that is a long answer, but we'll make it short. But I'd say I'm just a person. I'm a creative from Detroit. I won't even tag Southwest Detroit. I mean, I am from Southwest Detroit, but
You were born in Southwest?
yeah, I was
Nice.
born and raised in Southwest Detroit. And I do a whole bunch of stuff. I produce. I've been a musician for about 10 plus years. I'm 22 years old now, so multi-instrumentalist. I play guitar, bass, piano. That's led into like different things, me playing mariachi music, to me being a freelance musician, to me becoming my own singer or artist. Language. Yeah, so I'm an artist, producer, musician. I also host events. We were talking earlier, like I'd also consider myself like a lyricist. I like poetry. I like writing for songs. I like writing raps, rhymes, anything.
So, being from Detroit, and I know you said that you've been a musician for 10 plus years,
Yeah.
I would say, what was your biggest inspiration growing up for making music?
From music, I think tying into Detroit, I would say that music is literally such a rich part of our history, and it's everywhere. So like, I've always been influenced even by when you walk out of a Tigers game and you see like all these drummers, that are using like buckets and pans and different things to create different sounds, or in Southwest Detroit, like everybody just like blasting their music, and you'll hear everything from like 50 Cent to like corridos to like banda music. Like you hear everything. There's all different types of sound in Detroit. But I feel like I'm most influenced and inspired by live musicians. It's like musicians that are able to play live and that are able to be on stage and create like a groove, get into these little pockets of music, really like sometimes jazzy, sometimes really like chill, but still like rhythmic. I'm like really, 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 really inspired, I think, by live music, live musicians. In a lot of my music that I make, like the instruments being live, whether it's like a live recorded guitar or whether it's I want to hit the pads the whole song because I want that really live feel. Like I'm big on trying to recreate those live instrument sounds that inspire me in my everyday life, just being from the city and hearing all of these things going on around me.
You like live shows being more intimate. You want to connect more with the audience.
Yeah. And for that reason, I've never been like, I'm not the craziest fan of concerts, like for celebrities and stuff, because it's just, bro, it's like thousands of people. Like I'm squished and like I can't really enjoy, the artist. I mean, in a way you can. It's just not my cup of tea. I'd rather enjoy, like a very intimate setting, maybe live musicians, something like I'd rather go to a Tiny Desk concert than I would, a Ford Field Stadium concert. That's just me. But to each their own. People like live concerts too, and they like the live concert feel. But I'm just very much inspired by sound around me. Like
Nice.
I record voice. We were talking about it earlier. Like I record voice memos all the time. Like it could just be like a bird that I hear that I like, that I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna sample that later. Or it could be maybe I'm in a different country and they're like playing some crazy like drum pattern I've never heard. Let me take a voice memo. Like I just like recording live sounds around me because I feel like there's a lot of like liveliness, inside and outside the city. But a lot of that liveliness just translates so well into the work that I make, into the music that I make, because it's just like I was inspired by this really lively sound, lively music that's now going into this piece that I'm putting my own, like, you know, like taste on. It's really
Has
cool.
this been passed down? Like, is your family musically inclined?
No.
No?
No.
You lone wolf in this?
Yeah, so kind of. So the way that I got into music, which is the way that I feel like any great siblings are, it's very sibling rivalry of me. But and when I was in the 3rd grade, my brother in the 4th grade started to play the drums.
Okay.
And he was the first musician in our family. My parents, my mom, dad, uncles, aunts, they don't really play music, don't really sing. So he started playing the drums. And then me, just small, I was like, well, I want to play the drums too. Like, you get a drum. Like, why don't I get a drum? So I started playing the drums the next year, or like sometime in that year, sometime between 3rd to 4th grade. And that's just how it started. Like, it started with my brother, went on to me. My little brother went and played music too because he saw us playing music. It was like, it wasn't in our family before, but when me and my siblings started picking up music, like, it just opened a door for like all my other, I have like 7 siblings. So it's like, yeah, so it's just like opened a door for everybody because they were like, oh, we can play music too. Like, we can also dance. 2 of my sisters are really good dancers, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's like they dance, you know, but still creative.
Nice.
Yeah, I wish it was family oriented. I wish. I'm very jealous.
I mean, you guys are all artistic in your own ways. You know, your brother
Facts.
started with the drums, got you in the drums. Not only that, your sisters are dancers.
Mhm.
That can go miles.
Yeah. It's
That's
really
beautiful.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And I like to keep things in the family. Like, I always tell her, I'm like, when I'm famous, you're gonna come to my backup dancer. Or like, yeah.
You put your whole family on.
Yep.
Your brother could be backup drummer for when you
Right.
do live shows.
Yeah.
And that's money all within the family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. On some Quintanilla shit, Selena shit.
Okay. So.
Oh God. It was the
No, okay.
It was the like deep fix in the couch. I was like, oh God,
I got
here's
a
the serious
couple
question.
questions to ask you.
Okay.
A couple questions. One,
I have a couple answers.
also,
Got you.
tiny bit.
Got you. Yeah, I have a very soft voice. Let's see if this picks up.
No, understandable. One thing, with the music that you make now,
Mhm.
I would say, what has been your biggest influence on your current sound? Because we spoke a little bit earlier about that before the interview, but like, I want the world to know who you are artistically and
Yeah.
musically. What's your sound?
My sounds is emotion. That's literally it. I feel like anything I make, like produce, and like again, there's layers to this, right? Because there's like my sound in terms of what I produce, my sound in terms of like how I sing and how I write, my sound in terms of like how I'm playing the instruments in the music that I make. There's layers, you know. But I feel like the overall like arching commonality, if that's a word, I think it's a word, is just emotion. Like, you know, like when I play chords, I'm feeling some sort of emotion that I'm trying to translate, you know. So that's how I determine like how I'm playing my chords. When I'm choosing the speed of the song, the tempo, like how I want the kick to come in. Is it like a pretty fast upbeat kick? Is it something like really laid back, chill, like more like lo-fi? You know, all of these things I'm trying to create like a mood sphere, you know, like I want you to be absorbed into the emotion or the moment that I was experiencing when I made this piece.
Okay.
You know, so like you were listening to a few of my tracks and like
Impressed.
right.
Impressive.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, so like for those songs, you know, I was really going for this super like nostalgic, dreamy, kind of sexy, sultry R&B feel, because in my period in my life, in this period of time where I was creating these musics, that's what I was feeling, you know, like, and I just really want to like, my goal with like my sound and my music is I really just want you to feel, you know, like it can be the same thing I was feeling at that time, but I'm also very happy if you hear my music and it takes you to a completely different place. Now you're thinking about your best friend that you haven't seen in like seventh grade, and suddenly you want to reach out. I don't know, like feel something, you know, like that's my goal with my sound. It's just like
Music you can feel.
yeah, like
you know, something that resonates and connects with you as a listener.
exactly.
And you never know who you can inspire at the end of the day, because
Facts.
you work with so many people and you never know what the takeaway is.
Facts.
You know, you never know how you affect somebody. Somebody
Right.
can hear your music and be like, fuck, I finally found it. You know, like,
Yeah.
this is it for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's like a big goal too, because the music I was showing you, like, and what I'm learning just about my process as an artist. So I've been working on music for like a year and 7 months, and we talked about this, but like never felt the need to drop. I never felt like, oh, I need to release this, I need to drop, because a lot of this like past year and 7 months has been establishing real good footing, you know, like in the scene first, you know, and that comes with the networks and the connections, and that comes with like making sure I know people, and that like when I ask people to support my music, when I ask people to come to my events, it's not just out of like I need something out of you, but it's like, hey, we built this relationship, you know, like I came to Replay Cafe and like we like talked and we had an interview and we played games. Like I hope, you know, like you feel that we're friends enough that you can, you know, stream my music, or you know that you can come to my events. And it's like I feel like that secure footing is like sometimes missing in artists, you know, like that community, that like sense of like you have people who are waiting for your drop. It's not just that you're trying to force people to like swallow your content, you know, like.
How has that journey been for you? Like, I don't know. I can't speak for everybody, but I'm very socially awkward.
Yeah.
We've experienced this earlier when we first met earlier. We've experienced this. I have
Yeah.
like really weird social cues,
Yeah.
and it's like hard for me to public speaking. This is new,
Yeah.
but like this is something that I'm getting into. Are you, how should I say this? How has that journey networking been for you? Are you more of an introverted person, an like extroverted person? Like how
This is a great
it
question.
easy for you to network and like create this journey of meeting new people to work with, to support you?
Yeah.
Like how has that journey been for you this far?
It's been a long ride. So, like I said, I was mentioning earlier, I've been performing since I was 13. So, I've been in these settings where it's like, you know, show persona, stage persona, and learning how to talk to people, and professionalism, and when to not use professionalism, because if you show up to the kickback trying to be super professional with people, they're going to be like, what the fuck? You know, like, who is this weirdo, you know? So, it's just like, so since I've been 13, I've been navigating this, you know, so like learning how to talk to people after performance, learning to take the compliments, take the constructive criticism, you know, because not everybody's going to be like, your show was so great, you know, like it was the best thing I've ever seen. Some people are going to be like, hey, that was dope, you need a better mic, or like, hey, that was dope, but you should work on your intonation. And for me, I've appreciated growing up so young with that feedback, and growing up with these comments back from people who listen to my singing or my playing or whatever, because I've learned to take these things without ego, you know. And I think that's a really big thing that I've had to like solidify in the past, you know, year and 7 months, 2 years that I've been hopping into the scene here, because navigating it now, I would say I've grown to be an extrovert, you know, but I'd say by nature I was very introverted, and I did like to stay inside. But it's like, especially when I was 16, I started my own band, and before in this was mariachi, when I was doing mariachi music. So before in my mariachi band, when I wasn't the leader, it was very much easier to, you know, stay in the background and to play my instrument, to stay comfortable, to, you know, just stay in my place, basically. When I started leading my own group, I'm gonna leave space for you. I talk a lot.
No, you're good, because you said you started a mariachi band, but
Yeah.
was it a young person mariachi band?
No, so that's hilarious that you asked that, because no, like it wasn't. The first mariachi group I was with was a youth mariachi group. We were all between like 14 to like 22 years old.
That's crazy. I've never heard of
Yeah.
a youth mariachi band.
Yeah, it was the first. It was literally the first in the city, the first in Detroit. I almost want to say the first in Michigan, but I don't want somebody coming after me later like, we were the first. So I'm going to say we might have been the first in Michigan, but I know for sure we were the first in Detroit.
Okay.
And I did that for like years, like 4 years or something, you know? Yeah, a long ass time.
You were performing in Southwest?
Yeah, Southwest. We would go everywhere. Like we would go to Ohio, Southwest. We go to Traverse City, Grand Rapids,
Really?
Lansing. Yeah. Like mariachi is a very high demand genre. Like it goes places for sure.
Damn.
Yeah, and you would never guess. But I say all that to say that like when I started my own group when I was 16, I couldn't stay comfortable anymore. Like, I couldn't book the group, or I couldn't like be a leader and be a director and like lead these women without initiative and without being very comfortable with public speaking and very comfortable with like hosting, even, you know, like hosting, public speaking, emceeing, like all these things that I didn't have a clue of before, but that I had been watching for years, you know, because I was a part of the band. So then when I got turned for me to do it, it just became super easy because I was like, well, I've been around this for years. But I think what the switch that's been happening now has been me moving from constantly being in like my artist mask or my artist persona to like now being in like my community persona, you know, like doing everything for Gallery Club, or like promoting my producing. You know, it's not just, you know, oh, I'm an artist and I do this. It's like, no, like we're trying to build long-term projects and initiatives here in Detroit. Like, this is why it's important. And that takes a whole different skill set, you know, of networking and communicating, to be able to like tell people and articulate not what you do, but what you're going to do. It's like a really big skill that I had to develop like this past year, because I can tell people as much as I want, hey, I'm working on content, I'm working on content, I'm working on content. But if I don't have like a plan to get people to like be interested into why I'm working on content and why they might want to listen, then there's no point, you know?
Right. Separating yourself from the art is an art form in itself.
For real.
How has that been for you with your persona? Like, I would say, is it easier representing yourself as just Camilla, or through your stage persona? Like, how's that journey been?
I'd say it's always easier to just be myself. Like, and you hear it all the time on like every artist interview. Like, they're just like, just be you. And it's so simple, but so many people can't do it. Like,
right.
they feel like such a need. And wait, actually, I'll take it back because I don't even want to talk about other people. I'll just frame it from like a first person. Like, I don't feel a need to put on a mask, you know. I don't feel a need to filter myself, which is sometimes bad, but still it's authentic to myself, you know. Like, I don't wake up wanting to be anybody other than me, you know. I don't wake up like, oh, I need to try to dress like Kilani today, you know. Like, I just wake up like, all right, what am I gonna wear? Okay,
I'm gonna be Camilla.
Yeah, like, I'm being me. And that's why I think my artist name, I haven't fully decided on the artist name, but I think I will just stick with Camilla, because it's like, it's me, you know.
Yeah.
Like, it's way easier for me as an artist to just be me than it is to always wear a mask and a persona when I have to like meet people. And that's not to say that like I don't. Like, I do have a persona and I do have a mask. I'd say that like Camilla Cantu is more professional, you know, like is able to do like different things in the community. Camilla, like the singer, or Camilla the artist, like I definitely like give myself I have a little more confidence, you know,
right.
Like way more confidence, you know, owning things like owning the stage, or really working the crowd, or it's all, to me, it's just all energy manipulation, you know.
Okay.
Like, artists and stage persona is just the ability to like feed my energy to other people. Not to say that they have to suck it all up, but it's just like, hey, this is my vibe. Catch it or don't, you know, like it's here, like it's right here, you know, like I'm gonna sing and do this song and you're gonna be stuck with my vibe for like 3 minutes 25 seconds. So there it is.
You fuck with it or you don't.
Yeah, literally,
you know?
literally.
If it's for you, it's for you. If it's not,
right,
somebody fucks with it.
Man, you know?
And it's good shit.
Thank you. Thanks. I mean, when it's done, you haven't even heard the done stuff.
I mean, what I heard was 10.
Fire.
It was fire.
I appreciate that, for real.
So it's only gonna get better.
Man.
You spoke earlier about Motor City and the work that you do. Let's touch on that.
Yeah.
What do you do? Because I know what you do, but the world needs to know what you offer to the city as a creative and as an artist.
So I would say right now I do primarily 3 things.
Right.
So first things first, I have a job. Like, I do have a 40-hour-a-week, like, full-time job.
What do you do?
I'm a program operations manager for Living Arts, which is it's like a art nonprofit organization in Southwest Detroit. They offer a whole bunch of very low-cost classes to students in Detroit. They offer like ballet or dance genres. They answer visual arts and media. They also offer beat making and recording. They offer a whole bunch of different classes: ballet, tap, jazz. Whole bunch from ages like 3 to 18.
Do these cost?
How, I'm sorry?
Do these cost?
Yeah, they do cost, but I promise you, like, most parents pay between $5 to $25 a month. Very low cost a month. Like, it's very, very, very low cost, very affordable, which is the whole, like, mission statement, you know, like, accessibility and, like, affordability for these type of programs, which are typically very, like, classes and, you know, like, aren't affordable to people of lower income neighborhoods.
You see a lot of kids with these scales?
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like it, honestly.
Yeah. Honestly, we, like, 2/3 of our families are from Southwest Detroit. You know, like, I tell people all the time, like, I speak more Spanish than English on the job because that's the demographic I serve. Right. You know, so, and
I know that feels good, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely practice. Like, and I thank you, Living Arts families, for putting up with my Spanglish because, like, you know, I try as hard as I can. You know, but like it really opens my mind because I'm like, to even run our programming in one language is not accessible. It doesn't do justice, you know, to the families we serve. We can't send out flyers and send out enrollments only in English when more than half of our families speak Spanish, you know? So it's opened my eyes a little bit, this job, in terms of, like, real community needs and, you know, like, how sometimes efforts may be good to try to create, like, you can have a program or organization that will create these classes that will offer them in Southwest Detroit, but if you're not doing that extra work and taking it to the extra level of now having, like, translated programming, and you also have bilingual teaching artists, and you have a person like me who is able to actually converse with the families and, you know, build relationships with the families. You know, if I didn't speak Spanish, I don't know I don't know what would happen, you know, because I have to, like, to even ask parents, you know, about stuff with their kids. Like, I need to call them and speak Spanish. So it's given, this job itself is just running the day-to-day, the nonprofit. Like, I oversee all the classes. Like, I oversee all the kids, all the parent relationships. It's giving me so much insight as to, like, how much it really does take, like, mental energy, physical energy, resources to create, like, these massive programs like this in cities, you know?
You're working deep within your community as a Hispanic yourself, working within the community of your hometown that started you. How does that make you feel? Seeing these kids from, like, where you come from, and you get to, hand in hand, help these kids create a better future and, like, discover themselves. Like, how does that make you feel?
It
Especially
feels
with
fantastic.
with
like,
your
great.
creative process. Like, how does that feel for you?
I'm literally so I'll shift into the other stuff I do because that ties so well to this. But, like, I am literally inspired every day by the kids I work with, and it's like it's like this never-ending circle of inspiration. Like, I know I inspire them. I don't know if they know they inspire me, but they do inspire me, you know? So, like, outside of Living Arts, I took on this second job this summer, which was teaching music classes for Motor City Street Dance Academy, which is another nonprofit organization based in Southwest.
Shout out to them.
Shout out MCSDA.
Yes.
So, they offered me, like, a couple of, like, 4-hour slots on Thursdays to just go and work with 7th to 5th graders and to teach music, right? Okay. And that was what I did all summer. And the way that I learned from these kids, like second graders, you know, like, it was ridiculous. Because I think as a creative and as the older you get as a creative, you start to get a little more in your head. You know, you start to overthink things. You start to doubt your decisions, your creative choices and decisions. And what I learned from these kids is if you take, you know, a group of kids or I would do this exercise called piano noodling, which was something that my professor at the University of Michigan in one of my music classes would do. We would just sit at the piano for an hour. Everybody would try to just freestyle. And I tried it with the kids. I was just like, I know we did it in college, but, like, I just want to see, you know, like, maybe the kids can get a hold of it too. And when I tell you, like, kids were coming up with natural piano melodies, like, first, second, third class. Music is so intuitive. Like, that without any instruction, any knowledge of music theory, any knowledge of rhythm, nothing, kids are able to create their own musical pieces. Some that are really good, like really, 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 really good.
Oh, shit.
Like, so it's just being able to be a producer, be a creative, and turn around and give back these skills, you know, to kids. Because I didn't grow up having like producing programs, you know.
Right.
I didn't grow up having like one-on-one music instruction where the piano teacher let me do whatever the fuck I wanted and I had a great time, you know. Like, how much of our idea of music instruction is just to teach, you know? Like, it's so much just to teach, you know. But it's like, if we give young minds and kids an option to just explore. Like, I'm not even going to tell you what a C scale is, bro. Like, go find it out yourself, you know? Like, go play on it yourself. Like, it just opens so many doors. And I realized, like, how smart, like, the kids in our community are. And it made me really sad because it's just, like, you all are so smart. And some of you are so, like, naturally musically gifted. And I know you won't get any of the resources that you need to develop this. That's what was really sad about it, because I taught these classes and I saw, like, I had this one student, for example, named Carlos. And Carlos, he was working on an electronic keyboard one day, and, you know, the one where you could change all the sounds and everything was a Yamaha.
Yeah.
And he found, like, a rain sound. So he, like, you know, pressed down on the rain sound. And I was, like, working with another kid who was just, you know, fiddling on the piano, and we were coming up with stuff together. And in the back of my ear, I can hear Carlos, like, putting the rain. And he found a way, like, he figured out that if you press down the keyboard and change the sound while pressing down the keyboard, you can now do two sounds at the same time.
Oh.
So he made a soundscape of rain and thunder. And then he comes up to me and he's tapping me. He's like, Miss Camilla, you can do this in the background of what he's playing. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I go and see, he literally created like a soundscape to the background of what the other kid was playing. He was already producing music.
He was a step ahead.
He's like second grade, bro.
Oh,
like
man.
making whole soundscapes. And this is the same kid that, you know, a week before I saw naturally make a beat like this. Like, I thought the instructor made the beat because I was like, dang, Matt, that sounds good. It was the kid. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, kids can be so, and it's because they're not in their head. It's because they're not doubting themselves. It's because they haven't got into that middle school weird age where they care about their everything, you know, and they overthink everything.
It's full creative control.
They're just
Completely.
little creative muses, bro. Like, they just they do what they want, and like most of the time it sounds good. Like, sometimes the students would even slam the piano, and I'm like, you know, I'm not gonna tell you that's wrong, because who am I to tell you? You know, who am I?
Somebody likes it.
Right.
Figure it out.
Right, some real like free jazz, you know, just like slam. So, but it was fun to me, you know, like from the kids that were able to like make whole piano melodies in 10 minutes to the kids that went and just slammed drums and slammed pianos. Like, every part of that was important to me. I was like, I want you to explore what this is like for you. I don't want my idea of how music should be to taint yours, you know? Because that would be terrible. Like,
right.
You know, if I tell you, like, not to play these notes together, you're probably going to live the rest of your life thinking these notes don't go together until somebody comes around and breaks the molds, which is usually what happens when you make great music. You didn't do anything special but break the molds.
Because people are so limited by, like, outside pressures. They don't listen to themselves. I have that same issue.
Yeah.
I take a lot of outside factors, and I let it limit me into what I feel like I can do, because I think that somebody else isn't gonna like it or not fuck with it, which is far from the truth.
And it's like, when you're, and this is like my biggest takeaway from the summer is like, I agree and I feel the same thing, but it's you're so natural on this, so it's like I wouldn't even expect that you get these doubts, but they can't see the setup, but I see the setup. But what I learned this summer, and what, like, just to wrap up the whole question, was like, we're all kids.
Yeah.
We are all kids. All, like, me and you have the exact same free music ability, free creativity that these first and second graders have. Only difference is that we have experiences and that we have society norms that make us doubt ourselves, you know, and that put on those external pressures to the point that you get to like questioning your content, you know. But if we all really want to be, we can slam pianos, and that could sound like Mozart to us, you know, like just how it's just, we lose that inner kid, you know. And that's what they taught me this summer, is just like, I don't want to lose that inner kid, you know. I don't want to lose that piece of me that thinks that anything I create is good.
Exactly.
Because that's how they are.
Now, piggybacking off that, now that you have your free range of inspiration, you are doing a lot within your community. You've been working with different artists, networking, discovering your sound. What's next on the plate? What are you working on right now?
Woo. It's, again, layers. I'm a very multifaceted person.
Of course.
So let's take it from the artist perspective.
Okay.
Artist perspective, I have a project. I am working on it. I'm hoping to release my first single in like the next month and a half.
Okay.
Which is gonna be the last song that I showed you earlier.
The last song you showed me is
yeah.
gonna be the single?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm working on, but it's just so much, you know. Like really, what's held me back from releasing and dropping is money. Like it adds up, you know. And like I work my humble nonprofit job, and I do all these jobs I can on the side. Every side job that I do, whether it's hosting, producing, whether it's DJing, like all of that goes straight into the studio.
It's a story.
Yeah.
What you have from start to finish, your backstory, it's a full story. It's so much like resonance within everything that you do. It like coincides with the music.
Yeah.
It's like very inspiring.
Yeah.
It's like a domino effect. You inspire these kids who inspire you.
Yeah.
And you network and you work with Motor City Dance and you teach kids on the side, and then you do it within that, and then you take the people that you inspire and they turn around and inspire you while you're working on your own stuff. It's literally a cycle.
And in the same way, I feel like that's what I'm now starting to experience in community. You know, like dipping my toes in the Detroit creative economy. Oh, so I'm releasing music soon. That's coming. A whole EP. It's gonna be very groovy. It's gonna be super chill. It's just a matter of getting the visuals together at this point, getting the visuals and finishing the vocals in the studio.
Okay.
But like I said, like I do music when I can. You know, like outside of the nonprofit work, outside of the school work, outside of gallery club work.
Do you dance?
I do dance. I love to dance.
You do dance?
Yeah, but I don't dance like professionally. I just dance like bachata.
No. So
like,
what I was gonna ask
Okay.
was, are you like dancing with your music?
Yeah. So remember how I was telling you my sister's a dancer?
Right.
So I'm actually hiring her as a choreographer because she's 16 and she's great. Her name is Nina Contreras, and she actually literally just got back from a 3-week dance training in New York because she got scouted. You know, at 16, she's already getting scouted from dance companies, and like they're like, hey, fuck college, come dance for us, you know. And like I'm just like, I'm very pro, do what you want, you know. I don't care if she goes to college or not, but she's all in all, she's a really, really, really good dancer. And I was just like, I need to learn how to dance. Like I know on the artistry aspect, and honestly, even an energy aspect, I feel like dance is energy, you know. Like this is all energy, frequencies, it's conversation, like it's all frequencies, you know. But I feel like I'm getting to a point that I'm very comfortable, like with my manipulation of sound frequencies, you know, and audio frequencies. But if I can get into a level where I can now, like, I feel like dance is so much more internal, you know. Music is very internal, but dance
comes from the soul.
Yeah, dance is like the manipulation of your own soul energy, you know. Like it's the manipulation of like your whole body. So I always feel like the way I see these things is like, okay, I dipped my toes, started to sing, started to play music. That's energy. But then I started to figure out how to, you know, produce and create now 808s and to create synths that add on to how I'm spreading, you know, like feelings and emotions through energy. And now that's moving to like the way people are seeing me and the movements that they're seeing my body do and how it captivates them and how, you know, I like my biggest thing is just all of this. Or when I started to like rap and stuff, and it's just like that was another aspect. All of this to me is just unlocking a new level of my own energy.
You got bars?
Maybe.
You be rapping?
You gotta catch me in a gallery club cypher.
You be rapping?
I do. But that's like, okay, that's the newest part of my like that's my newest discovered thing. I didn't know I could
So you're like constantly evolving.
Huh?
You're like constantly evolving as an artist.
Literally, and that's why I'm taking so long to drop. It's just like, bro, I haven't dropped in a year and 7 months because I'm literally still discovering myself. Like, and the fact that I put no limits on myself, you know, the fact that I'm like, I don't confine myself to like, I'm just an R&B singer. No, I'm also a rapper. Or like, I just do this.
Drop everything. Just drop all of it.
I will be ready to drop once I finish. I mean, I'm never gonna be finished, but like right now, I'm in this like exploration of myself. I'm like, okay, how far can I push my singing? How far can I push my producing? How far can I push how much I mix and master my own stuff? How far can I push my own bars? You know, how far can I push my own freestyle? Like,
drop along the way so we can all see the progression.
That's facts.
That was literally
That's big
my
facts.
thing, because I was just trying to find the right time and the right this and the right that. And like the best thing to do is basically just the entire process needs to be saw.
Yeah.
You need a story. You have a story.
How did you figure out when to drop?
I just do it. Like I was trying to structure shit in a way that like felt good to me instead of just dropping.
Yeah.
So like people can see the progress, you know, like if you feel like something's lacking, the next thing will have it, you know. It's just people need to see the progression of where you started to where you're going.
Yeah.
That makes the journey that much better when people see the story happening.
And I think that's the conclusion I finally came to, because like for the longest time I was like, I'm not gonna drop till it's perfect, you know, like until the visuals are perfect or until like
you'll never know when it's perfect.
Exactly. And then like last month, so I came back from I was on a European tour for 3 weeks with music and like doing music and like seeing, you know, going across the world with music I hadn't even released that I could see people across the world liked, that they enjoyed. It was this moment of like, oh, maybe you should drop, you know, like it may not be up to your like standards, but like what are your standards? Like, and that's when I finally got to the point in my artistry, and this literally happened like last month, because this is like when I was like, okay, it's time to drop, that I finally realized like, to me, my drops and my projects and everything that I do as an artist, it's like a record of my history. You know, like the first single that I drop is gonna be a single that I wrote this summer when I was feeling these emotions, and I want you to know that like this is where I was in this time. My project's the same way, you know, like my project is gonna be like, the mood is very like nostalgic, very like lustful, very kind of like daydreamy, I guess. And that's because that's where I was the past year and 5 months, you know. And I finally got to the point that I realized, oh, I should drop to show people where I am. It's like a checkpoint, you know, a pinpoint. Like, this is where I was mentally, this is where I was spiritually, this is where I was musically. Here you go. Leave it on to the next, you know. And that's how I started to look at stuff now, because before where it was like, I gotta drop by October, you know. But now it's just like, you know what? I think I'm finally ready for, this pass. I made the song, like, here, y'all can see where I was like 2 months ago. But music,
you can drop some loosies and shit in the meantime, but I wouldn't even worry about pushing release dates until you have that EP ready.
Yeah.
At that time, yeah. But if you're dropping loosies, get some warm-ups in, you know? Like, let people know you got that voice, flex that, bar up, throw some beats out there.
Facts.
You're really on the path to greatness.
And
it's like, it's great to see that. It's really refreshing. It's like, not only are you just like a person in the community that people can rely on, people that can relate.
Yeah.
It's a ton of girls I know out here that probably look up to you and say, hey, this is like what I want to be. But at the same time, you're still figuring yourself out as an individual, as an artist. And I think that's like really great for everybody to like see that, witness that, and to like grow with you.
Yeah.
It's not even just a singular experience. So many people are watching you. And I don't even mean that in like a self-conscious way, but it's like, you never know who's learning from you.
Right.
So as you're growing, other people are growing too. People are probably taking your music. People can take your music and grow with it.
Right.
Like, this song helped me do this, or like this song helped me feel this when I should have felt this. And like, that's why I said like, fuck trying to figure out when to drop. Because like, you never know when that's gonna help somebody. You never know who or what your shit's gonna resonate to with somebody, you know.
Facts.
Up until you hit like something you need structure, like that EP, Lucy's, and just random ass tracks. Like, if you drop like a random ass track with 2 verses, or just like something that was like a minute, that shit will bang regardless, because it speaks for itself.
Right. I never thought about it like that, but I feel like that's kind of like, and that's where I realized I was being selfish with my art. you can totally be selfish with their art. And I think that there's a time and place for that. Like, I am not mad at Rihanna at all for never dropping a project, you know, like after her last project. But it's like, it's for me, it's like, yeah, bro, like you're being selfish with your art, because these are moments, you know, that people might relate to, and these are moments that might resonate with people. Like, especially like concept that I have for my first album, for example, it's like I want to call it like the breaking or something break or something like that, because it's like a culmination of songs that I wrote in some of my darkest times, you know, like songs that I wrote after my grandma died, and music that I wrote struggling with like depression and things like that. Like, it's been like a year and 5 months of these songs just brewing and brewing and brewing and brewing and brewing, that it just happened one day, and I was just like, these all have a theme, and it's because this was where I was in life, and it's not fair to other people to deny them of that, you know, because they might relate to this. Like, somebody might listen to the song of like, and again, my whole thing is like, just feel something, you know, with my music. And in my head, like, I hope that like when I release the song, you know, about my grandma passing away, that's like a healing, transformative moment for somebody. Somebody will deeply in their soul know exactly how I was feeling when I wrote that song. You know, somebody's like gonna listen to that shit and probably cry their eyes out. But you know what? They really did need to cry their eyes out.
Yeah.
And I'm being selfish in the way that like I'm preventing people from healing in these ways, you know, like, because I know like music is very healing. And for me to, you know, constantly sit on my projects, constantly sit on my content when I know it can like spiritually, mentally, emotionally help somebody, it's selfish, you know, like that's not right. And that's where I'm getting to with this point of my art. It's just, it's finally like, nah, bro, like it's time, like don't stop bullshitting yourself, you know?
Yeah. It was nice having you here.
Thank you for gassing me up the whole
I
interview.
got you. So plug us. Let us know where we can see your art, see your music. How can we contact you?
Okay, it's a few things. You can follow me on Instagram at Camilla Cantu. That's CamillaCantu. I was like, did I say that right? And you can keep up with all of like my personal stuff there. I post about everything there. Like, I'm gonna be having some like Chicago shows coming up. Like, I got booked for a festival in Chicago next week, and I have more shows in Chicago at the end of the month. So I post like all my content there. Any shows, anything related, it's all right there. If you want to learn more about the work that I do, or if you want to learn more about Living Arts, because we do take students, we do enroll in the city of Detroit, you can follow Living Arts at Living Arts Detroit. I think you can figure out how to spell that. Living Arts Detroit on Instagram. If you want to keep up with Motor City SDA, MCSDA, which is Motor City SDA on Instagram. They do breakdancing classes, more art classes for students in the city.
I'm trying to get. I want to get them in here next. I'm gonna need you back here for that too, because you're a part of it.
Matt and Matt would be great for an interview.
I'm gonna reach out to them after this. I want to get them in here.
Yeah.
Obviously, get you back in here for that.
Hell yeah.
Because I want to interview them and have them explain what that is.
Yeah.
Because we can all utilize this space for that. I can go there, do impromptu.
Yeah.
I want spotlight on that place, because there's not a lot of places around in this general area that's doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's such a blessing that you're a part of that as well.
Oh yeah.
And I know they do great things. I follow them on Instagram.
Yeah.
I see them when they do gallery club stuff. So
yeah, I was gonna say Gallery Club's the last place you gotta follow. Gallery Club Detroit.
I need them in here. They have a lot of stuff that the world needs to be interested in, and it's great that you take part in that. I think that's super fucking dope for the community.
Thank you, Curtis.
Especially the kids. I love it.
Yeah. I love them too. Like, I've always loved kids, like tutoring kids or working with kids. Like,
we get a lot of kids in here, and that's like another reason why I resonated with what you do, is because I never had this place, Replay Cafe, as a kid. Like, I've never had a place where I could come and be myself, or a place that like I could just come and chill and hang out with my friends.
Play games and eat ramen all day. Like, yeah.
Never had that. And like, I love seeing the young kids, young teenagers come in here and just hang out for hours. I don't care how long, because they could be out in the streets doing God knows what, doing whatever, fucking around, making shit happen, getting in trouble. And I'd rather them be here and safe and having fun and learning shit than to be out in the streets doing what the fuck ever.
And it's the same thing with all the arts too, you know, like put kids in art programs, put kids in dance programs, put kids in music programs, and I promise you'll see a difference, you know. Like, it's, if they have resources and opportunities to do things that they want to do, to not be in the streets and to not be doing other stuff that they maybe shouldn't be doing, I promise you they might take those resources, you know. It's just like the lack of it. And I think that's why this work is so important. Your work is important, my work is important, Mav's work is important. Matt's work is important. Living Arts work is important. Spotlight's work is important. You know, like everybody in my eyes plays a role in the Detroit creative economy. You know, like whether you're making the programming, whether you're a teacher in the programming, whether you're a parent with a student in the programming, everybody has a hand in this, you know. And it's just like, if we can, I feel like if things like this, you know, where we're able to talk and we're able to share perspective and we're able to share, you know, resources and plug everybody to whoever's listening to this right now, and conversations, you know, like I had to explain to somebody recently that the best way, I feel like, in Detroit to make shit happen, just talk. Like, have a convo, you know. Like, you could have all these ideas in your head, and the minute you start talking about it with some other person, they might somehow have a piece of the puzzle. You know, and
the
like
ball
that
moves.
Right.
The ball rolls forward.
For real. So it's just like, I feel like that's the beautiful thing about the city, though, is that like we all do talk, you know, at least for the most part. The people that need to talk, which is why we're able to have like cross programming, like Detroit public school programming, and which is why we're able to like offer different things, like even this space, you know, for the youth. It's just a lot can be done, I feel like, in the community with just genuine conversation. You know, that's like a big piece of the puzzle. If you're just like out here popping out of events like just to show face and then getting your drink and then dipping, like, what are you doing? You know, like, you know, go talk to somebody, like go meet somebody. And I know that's hard for introverts, you know, like I have my moments too, where it's just like, man, fuck people right now, like don't want to talk. But it's just like, you don't have to be like that every weekend, you know?
Well, look what happened now.
Right.
We bridged that gap.
Right.
I met a bunch of people through connections, and this is how this got started.
Right. Now we're friends.
Now we're
going to make beats, and you're going to maybe let me borrow your MIDI fighter to Chicago.
Anything that gets the ball rolling. We have to support other artists.
Right.
Support other artists.
Right.
And I'm glad that you came and did this interview with me.
I'm glad that you had me, and I got that I saw the space. It's dope.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
And next time, hopefully, our next interview will be when the EP drops.
Right.
So we can talk more about that.
Yeah, that's facts. I gotta come back like after everything, do like a recap, or what are those called? The season, at the end of the season when they do like one episode that recaps the whole. Everybody, the reunions. Do a reunion.
Oh yeah, reunion.
Yeah. My hair will be longer, maybe.
We gotta plug the people with your music, so next time you come, we can have some music playing. You get to talk about the songs.
I do want to be in the space, just playing beats and everything. That'd be really, really, really fun. I'm like gonna take you up on that for real.
You definitely can.
For sure. Okay, appreciate that.
All right. Well,
we're closing out.
It was great.
It was great.
Zach.
Oh. Outro. Thanks y'all so much for coming to this interview with me and Curtis. We would like to thank you for tuning in. Shout out to our sponsors, Replay Cafe, as well as Red Bull energy drinks, because that's what got us through this interview.
100%. Yes, sir.
Also
good Red Bulls.
Thank ya. See you on the next.